I bought it in where did I buy it?
Two
I bought it
seconds.
in Denver. It's a real Stetson hat.
I like it.
Kind of cool.
It is cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it kind of works.
All right, we're now live. Pre-game, Colorado State, Virginia. I think Mark is going to join here in 2 seconds, but let's start off. I'm T-Dub. We got Havlicek in the cowboy hat.
Evening, ladies.
Mark Jerome, New York. Dougie Fresh, Jersey City. Josh, you're in. I don't know what city are you in?
Stewart's Draft.
Stewart's Draft. All
Just
right,
across from Charlotte.
let's go and kick it off.
Yeah. So, guys, 6 months ago, is this where we thought we'd be? Dougie Fresh, your take first. Where do you think we would be when the season started in November at this point?
Oh, I thought we were definitely going to the NCAA tournament. I didn't think we would be in the play-in game. Because the play-in game's not the NCAA tournament, right? You guys agree?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
We got to play to get in. No, you got to play to get in. There's no money. There's no nothing. You go to Dayton.
It's the 68.
You go to Ohio.
The first four is the tournament.
Right.
Josh, do you agree with that?
No, I think it's part of the tournament. I mean, it's the field of 68. They put 68 teams in. It is what it is. It's kind of annoying. I mean, I do agree with that aspect, I guess, but it's part of the tournament.
One second. It is what it is. Gets a ding.
It's called is it not called the play-in game? From the real bracket, you have Texas is going to play Virginia or Colorado State. You're not in the tournament. You're playing to get in. It's a wild card.
Part of the tournament, Dougie.
All right, fine. We're in the tournament. Hang a banner.
I don't have an argument really, but it's part of the tournament.
It's on the bracket. It's on the bracket at ESPN, so I think it counts. There could be an asterisk, but I think it counts.
Have November first game season against Charleston State.
Yeah. So I thought we'd be like, we didn't know what we had, right? But preseason, we talked about transfers coming in. Rhodey was going to be great. Jordan Minor was going to be like right out of the gate, sort of a Jaden Gardner type. And then Dante was going to be like really, really good coming in. Hasn't worked out that way. I thought we'd be in if you had asked me.
In where?
Huh?
In where? What position? What
I think we'd be in the regular tournament, not in the first four. That would have been my guess.
Like a 3 to an 8 seed or somewhere around there? I mean,
I would have guessed we finished third in the ACC. I don't know about seeding wise, but I thought we would be in, like, named in. And it's great that we're in. Let's get this win tonight. But I do think I wouldn't have thought we'd be in the first four because we've never been in it before as a school, and it's a little bit like you got invited to the wedding, but you have a really bad. You're sitting outside. You're not actually inside at the reception.
I was just waiting for an analogy from you.
Yeah, that's it.
It's weird. It's a weird place for UVA. So I'm glad you gave another good analogy, as you always do, Mr. Analogy. Josh, where do we?
So he has pushed himself to be in every one of his friends' wedding parties, and if he's not, he's the last four in, right?
First
wedding party, 4 to 8 people. I'm not coming unless I'm in. So when he still gets the invite, he's the last four in. So.
I'm usually invited just based on my dancing ability and overall rhythm, not necessarily my friendship.
Well, you need good dancing at a party. Josh B., if we won or didn't lose so badly against NC State, do we have a different seed?
Yeah, okay. I don't know about seed line, but I don't think we'd be in the play-in if that's the way I would see it.
Of course, if we won, right? But if we didn't lose so poorly, if we just lost in a tight game where we had the game won and didn't throw it away, are we looking at a 9 or 8 seed or even a 12 seed and not the play-in?
No, that I don't know as much about that. We're probably still right there in the play-in with a loss either way. I think a win though would have bumped us up at least to a protected 10, if you want to call it that, not a play-in. But maybe a 9, I guess. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm kind of happy with the way it worked out for us. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, I think, just because I like the matchups.
We're going to get to the matchup later. You and Hav will break it down. Hav's watched a lot of Colorado State. We had Sugar Shane, on his selection show on Sunday night, breaking down Colorado State some. He's terrific. 68 out of 68, incredible. Right for
You
Sugar
got
Shane.
every team that was going to go in, huh? Wow.
Every team.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. We were teasing him, saying, Shane, if you have children and your wife is pregnant, you're not going to be in the delivery room. You're going to be watching college basketball. If there's a Division III, like team from Oklahoma playing as a team from wherever, Wyoming, you're going to be watching that game or going to that game versus going to your. All right, Dougie, how fired up are you tonight?
I'm extremely fired up. I'm not.
What's-
I'm like. I'm in a motivated. I'm in a competitive mode.
What's
I'm
your
not gonna have fun. I'm not having fun watching the game.
Dougie, what is your pregame meal for being so fired up? What are you eating right now?
I'm eating Berry Street barbecue chicken, rice, and beans.
Oh, that sounds good.
Solid.
It's like the perfect mix of fat, protein, and carbs to be ready for the game. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not watching this game. I'm dead serious about this shit tonight. Let's go.
I was waiting for the real first ding. I didn't know how long it was going to take. All right, Habs, can you explain the get up, the cowboy outfit?
Yeah, so this is a real Stetson hat. It's a Stetson cowboy hat. I bought it in Denver, so I thought I'd wear it for tonight. I'm in my Western corduroy jacket and a blue jean shirt with pearl buttons. You know, it's about as Western as I can get down here in South Florida. I don't get to wear it a lot, but let's go. I've been fired up all day. I've been mad all day. Fresh called me out on our chat because I'm ornery. I want this one bad.
What are you so fired up about and angry about?
So I think what I'm angry about is just the hate that we get from the national media, right? There's so many pundits. There's so many people that have opinions. Most of them, you know, like people get mad at Jay Billis. All right, Jay Billis was a great player. There's a lot of guys that are just looking at this like it's a fixed income chart of like net and all that. Like we should be in. The one thing that scares me about this, and we'll get to it later, but I want to lead with it, is Colorado State, when they were in the first four, they were mad about it because they thought they should have definitely been in. And we were sort of relieved to get in. And that's a different mindset. I'm not sure how it plays out. We'll see tonight. But I don't love the relieved versus I'm pissed off thing.
Great point. Excellent point, Hal. And we're going to get to Colorado State shortly. Russ Dunn pointing out the Colorado State coach is tight with Dick and Tony, understands the pack line. He is nervous about the game, but very optimistic. I think the large percentage of UVA fans are probably optimistic, right? I mean, of course, we're breathing. This would be the first win in postseason, in the NCAA postseason for Tony Bennett if we win tonight since the national championship.
Yeah.
First, more importantly, you know, Tony's won the national championship. More importantly to me is Reese. He's happened to not have won in that an NCAA tournament game. This is a big story for me, man. I think they'll talk about it, and I think he'll step up to it and have a huge game.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, let's. Sugar Shane mentioned Isaiah point guard, who's a fifth-year player there. Isaiah
Stevens.
Perfect player. Really good player. I've seen Colorado State, I guess a month or two ago. They're good. I didn't see them a lot. Have you, and I'm not sure if Josh, I know you studied them, you watched them. What do we look for tonight from Colorado State? How do we beat them? And how do we move on to Texas and Caden?
Yeah, I mean, I know the NCAA says that they don't like look at storylines, but no one believes that because if you saw that video, Caden like put his hands in his head because they were named right after us. Like that was planned. So I hope we get a shot at him. I think it's a great story. Hey, this is a really, really good team tonight. What makes me nervous about them, and Josh, feel free to chime in, is how many seniors they have and how many postgraduate students they have. They're all very sophisticated. Here's a good stat I read tonight. Stevens, their point guard, who's really good. He's averaging, 17 a game. Here's who has scored more than him in the entire NCAA this year. Here's who's had more career points. It's a short list. Zach Edey, Jameer Young, Max Abmas from Texas. Those are the three that have scored more than Stevens.
No way.
I can score. Yeah, he's the fourth leading scorer. He's been there 5 years. He's made the All Mountain West, first team. This is his fifth year making it. This guy is really good. And we have a great point guard too, but this one is going to be hard. I think Reese's length will bother him. But gosh, any comments on Stevens?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're exactly right. He's a very, very, very high level player. He's a fifth-year COVID senior, and he gets a lot of credit for me for staying the course with Colorado State all 5 years. Just looking at the numbers and the eye test with him, he's a guy that probably could have moved up to the higher level, played in a Power 6 conference. But I give him props for staying put. I do agree with you. He's a very high-level scorer, but I will say in our defense, we've seen a very high-level scorer guard this year in R.J. Davis, being the number one, and Reese held him to 1 of 14 from the field. So it kind of, the feel-good meter is there, obviously, just like everybody else, very cautiously optimistic because this is the tournament. Every game's going to be close. It's going to be tight. Every team deserves to be here. I don't care if you're the number one overall or you're the 68th team in. Like, these teams fought for their spot. They deserve it. And it's going to be tight games all the way.
So this guy, Dick Vitale, called him one of the best 5 point guards in college basketball.
Wow.
Right? Now, again, Josh, you just mentioned we have Reese Beekman. Right? And, the pick and roll, playing the pick and roll on offense against most teams, you get a mismatch. You get to make plays off of this. It's a hard defense for a point guard to maneuver and manipulate against Virginia. Right? The ball's coming out of your hands often when you're the point guard. Now, if he tries to go one-on-one, Dougie, how do you like that matchup?
Oh, one-on-one against Reese, I take Reese every time. I mean, I've seen it. We've seen it. You watch it. It's just it's. Have we ever seen anybody have their way with Reese one-on-one? It's uncanny. In college basketball outside of Cornell and Anthony Oliver, I've never seen anything close. That I've paid attention to. Mookie Blaylock a little bit, but Mookie was more of a steal guy, not so much of a position guy. But Reese's ability to do that thing, I'll take Reese every time. But I've always been infatuated by scorers, and to make the point that he's got the most points in the NCAA, except for 3 guys, whatever. Guys that know how to make shots, Brian Stiff, get points, go on and on. It's really impressive to me, and there's kind of no secret there, right? You see the kid Shannon at Illinois getting 40 in the game of the day and still going up. That's a hard thing, and I don't know if they're affected by defense or they are. So I'll take Reese every time. Sorry.
Yeah, they have I believe or Josh B. I can't remember which one of you guys said they have a fairly methodical offense.
Yeah, they are sub 250 in pace. For context, Virginia is right at the bottom. There's 362 teams, I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, you're past 250, you're in the bottom third. And William there makes a good point, too. They do have a very high assist rate, number 2 in the country. I believe they're sitting right at number 10 in 2-point field goal percent. And to go along with Stevens scoring, he's a very smart player, 7 assists a game on top of that. Yeah. You might have watched them a little bit more than I did. I'll be honest. I just watched one game last night. I found their game against San Diego State. I think it was last month when they played at San Diego State. So I got to watch that a little bit. What more did you see out of their offense? Because from what I saw, they pretty much only ran that dribble handoff set that Shane was talking about on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Tony comment that he wishes he had Jim Boeheim's zone defense to cut down on their cutting. They cut a lot. What stuck out to me, I watched 3 games. What stuck out to me was the pace at which they play, which is very methodical and controlled, but you can't speed them up. They're comfortable with pressure. When you pressure them, they backdoor cut you. We're going to get backdoored a couple times tonight. They are very confident in what they do, and they remind me of, like, for anyone out there who still plays pickup, they're like the group of old guys that know how to play together at the rec center. And you can pressure them. They'll backdoor cut you. They'll screen. They have a lot of action, both ball side and off the ball, that is going to be hard for us. And they're not going to go too fast. They're quick enough. They score a ton of points inside, even though they're small. They have a really high field goal percentage versus, most teams. They are 18th in field goal percentage, 58.2%. Bunch of guys in the 60s. They make shots, and they're not going to be sped up by pressure. They run their system, and they're just very good at executing what they do. I don't think they're going to change, and I don't think we're going to change.
How concerned are you that this is reminiscent of Miami, Ohio, when we lost them in the first round? And that year we had 3 NBA players on the same team, right? On that UVA team. And now we've got a bunch of still transfers, right? And I think the chemistry is getting there. But does this remind you any bit of that game?
Well, Fresh is raising his hand, so I'll throw to Fresh first.
You know what? Looking at this, and I didn't nearly deep dive as much as I have than Josh, and don't know enough. It makes me think of the San Fran game 3 years ago, which is the same year, right? The San Fran game and the Ohio game. Maybe it's the colors. Maybe they're all green, etc. But it has the same kind of feel for me in the danger zone part of it, right? If you're worried about it, it has that same kind of idea and how we may come up short. But we're not. We're winning. That's when we can move on.
Have you seen Cartier yet? Their big guy.
Who's that? Carnegie?
I think his name is Cartier. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh yeah, Cartier. Yep.
Have you seen him, Fresh?
The white kid?
Yeah, you saying that is just kind of funny because he kind of looks like Vanderplas a little bit. Like comes out with the headband. He can shoot threes a little bit.
Yeah. I tried to watch the game today, but my internet's not as good as half, so I couldn't find it. But I saw one highlight, and they were like Cartier. I thought Cartier was just the watches that Have used to buy on Canal Street. We played in the NIT back in the day, and they were, for $5 they were fake, but I didn't know there was a last name. But yeah, I have. Yep, 100%.
Really good player. Averages about 11 points a game. 63, almost 64% on his field goal percentage. He just makes a lot of shots. Like he's good. And again, their pace of play, they kind of remind me of us in a way, but they're opportunistic in how they run. So they're not, they're 270 in pace, Josh, you mentioned. But they will take opportunity where I think we sometimes have numbers and we pull it out. They will go a little bit more than we do, but it's not a fast breaking team. Similar styles, both take care of the ball really well. I just know that they will not be bothered by the pack line because they do what they do. I mean, they might miss some shots and they will, but they're not going to be like, oh my God, we've never seen anything like this, because their sets are really good. And what they do, the pack line is set up to defend against. So that's good, but they have not been bothered this year by people getting up in their face, protecting. They seem to find a way to score more than we do.
I would say that from what I saw too, they're not very hesitant at all. Like they're very confident in what they're doing. They get the ball, they'll go straight to the shot. There's not a lot of getting it in, kicking it back out type of thing unless it's wide open. And like I said, I just watched the one game, but I mean, they seem like a pretty confident, know what they're doing type of team, which comes with experience. I mean, I'm sure it's to be expected.
Well, we are just about 20 minutes away.
Nice.
Here out of Staten Island in New York, just beat Howard 71-68. Doug, you wanted to comment on that?
I just know Staten Island, The Rock. A couple of guys at work went to Wagner, or they're from Staten Island, or maybe if you just go to high school in Staten Island, you just claim you went to Wagner, and once you get a job, even though you didn't go to college, which is fine. But they're all claiming. I met an old timer from Wagner a couple weeks ago watching their final game. He played there in the 50s or 60s. But that's, you know, up here, Marky, those little things when guys stay home, Jersey City, and you meet those guys, it's so interesting. So I had to show him a couple of videos of me playing against Bobby Hurley because he's best friends with Bobby's dad and all that. But that's okay.
I'm glad you did, Dougie.
Nah, that's fun.
Absolutely. We are getting closer and closer, inching closer to tip off. Do you think, do we make any adjustments today? Who do you expect to see start, and who do you expect to see a lot of playing time today?
Well, it's a good question because, you know, they don't have size. So we've typically moved things around in our starting lineup based on the size of our opponent. They don't have that. So I do think we can take advantage of that and put more shooters on the floor, which seems to lead to better outcomes for us. You know, I expect to see a lot of Groves. I expect to see, you know, Tane and or Rhodey, depending on kind of who's playing better. But I do like the aggressiveness offensively that Tane brings. I hope we see him a lot. I think he'll knock down shots. He's not scared. You know, the neutral court thing is interesting to me as well because you look at our record. We are, let's see. Well, first of all, we're 7-3 all time against Mountain West teams. They're 5-1 on a neutral court, and we are 3-2. So they're comfortable, and I guess so are we. I don't know how much it play. You don't need to get up for this game. You don't need crowd support to get you moving and energized. I think it'll be there. I do expect Tane to start. I think we'll go with Reese, Imac, Tane, Groves, and Minor to kick it off. Oh, I'm sorry.
You nailed it.
And done. Oh, here we go. Beak, McNeely, Groves, Murray, Minor. Okay.
Oh, no.
Is that official or is that just his guess?
I don't know.
David's posting it as like it's posted. So
yeah, so I'm looking. I don't see it yet, but might be.
Okay.
Can you confirm if that's a guess, or if that's what you'd like to see, or if that's confirmed?
Right. Who knows? Yeah, sorry.
That's a major adjustment for TB, which you and Dougie often call TB out for, like that he needs to make a few adjustments.
we need to make shots to start this game. Like we just need to make. We can't get off to like a, you know, 15-4 type of deal, which we do almost every game.
Okay.
And I'd love to see us make some shots, get some confidence. You know, my hope is that because we sort of, you know, you can call it snuck into this tournament, that we play a little more freely. Isaac lets it go. If we make 8 or more 3-pointers, like we win every time. So let's make 8. Let's take a bunch of them and put shooters on the floor and then play our defense.
David said it was a guess. Maggie Pope saying it's Beekman, McNeely, Tane, Dunn, and Minor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting, yeah. But heavy Groves, I think Hav is right on that. I just don't think he starts.
Yeah.
No Elijah.
So a couple of questions, guys. One, how much you, Dougie and Hav, you guys have been in this situation where you guys are going to the NCAA tournament, and you played an opponent that was from a lesser conference.
Oh yeah.
Is there a lot of pressure on you guys to like say we're from the ACC, we are the power team, we are the best team? Is there more pressure on you guys going to this? I mean, this year's a little bit different because UVA, you know, it's not like 18 and good.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something about our team. My last year, Hav's redshirt junior year, we went to Syracuse. The game from Syracuse. We played Manhattan in the first game, and they were an upstart. Who was the coach back then, Marky? Some guy that was on the upswing. Manhattan had a great year, and they were on paper a dangerous team, and we just buried them.
Destroyed
because
them.
our team personality was like, no. And it's a different era, it's a different time, all that, but we're like, no. And then we played Coach Calipari's UMass team the next 2 days later. And they were right on their meteoric rise. Right? They really got good. That year they weren't, Final Four kind of team with Camby and those guys. But we said the same thing. No, they're not. We're not. This is the ACC. This is the University of Virginia. We never let it happen. So the only team that sneaked us was my second year as redshirt freshman, broken nose in the side of his face, was BYU. But they had Sean Bradley.
But let's talk about
an 8-year-old dude who'd been on missions for 4 years in Australia. So,
but let's talk about the differences between now and then, right? A lot of first-year guys, a lot of transfers.
Yep.
Versus a guy like a team that Hab mentioned earlier. You've got Isaiah Stevens, who's been there for 5 years. You've got a lot of grad players on that team, right? Yep. We have first years, and we've got a lot of transfers.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, it is. And, I think back, still when I pick my bracket, I'm so biased towards picking the bigger name team to this day. Like, I have to do my research and go in and be like, okay, are they really good? I look at a bunch of different things. But back when we played, if you played a team from a lesser conference, there was zero doubt on the team that you were going to beat them. We beat Manhattan badly, and then we smacked UMass. UMass could not believe. Well, I don't know how many we ended up winning by, but it was a lot. And they could not believe it. And Calipari was shocked, and their players were shocked. And we got out of there we expected to go to the next weekend, and then we had to play Cincinnati, right, Fresh?
That was bomb squad. Cincinnati was a squad. They were they went to the Final Four the next year, not that year, or the year before, or whatever. But yeah, it was all real teams. But I think Mark's question is a cool one. We were just no. Not on this stage. Now we got sneaked a couple times. New Orleans beat us once, maybe twice, and things that shouldn't have happened. But when it was when you're on the national spotlight and the whole thing, it's not. We didn't even, JJ and those guys sorry, Coach Jones, scouting Manhattan, Tom Perrin doing it. We're who cares about the scout? Let's go play our game and let's beat their ass. Mother.
I'm gonna give you half of a ding.
I know. I wanted to set a record. I'm fired up. I wanted to set a record for dings tonight. But, I think my mom found out where the podcast is, so I can't really.
Thank you for watching, Mrs. Douglas. Also, you got to remember, the 3- and 4-year players back then at Virginia were so good, right? So you didn't see as many. I don't know what the percentage of upsets were pre maybe 2000 versus post 2000, right? Or 2005 or whatever, after more transfers and guys leaving one and done or two and done. I don't know when it actually started, but there's got to be some relationship between locker room. We're posting that last UVA win as an underdog to a question that was just asked in the NCAA tournament was in 1995 versus Kansas. UVA was a 4 seed.
In Kansas City, Kansas was the number 1 seed. We're still a 4 seed. How good is that team? When you're a 4 seed, you're pretty good, right?
So that would have been the Sweet 16?
No, that was Sweet 16 to go to no, we lost to Kansas to go to Final Four, I think.
No, we beat Kansas, we lost to Arkansas in the
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean think about that Kansas team, and that was one of the greatest line from Jay Willie on the court ever. I guess who was the big guy at Kansas back then? Is it Ostertag? Is that Kansas or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think Ostertag. Yeah,
he was having the sniffles at the free throw line, and Jay Willie, our brother, he goes, "Hey man, stop crying, big man. You should have played better."
So good.
Our coach. That's why he's on our team.
Oh yeah, was certainly a trash talker. We know that. Josh, what do you see tonight as the keys for us to win this game? I mean, we have to shoot the ball well, right? From the outside.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely got to hit shots, and I really do think we got to play good defense. I mean, they cut a lot. There's a lot of like I don't know if my terminology is right here, but motion to their offense. You know, they're constantly moving, getting to the basket. That said, though, one thing that kind of sticks out to me a little bit is both of their two starting forwards were Division II transfers up. And I don't mean that to take anything away from their actual basketball ability. I think, like Hav said, they're kind of reminiscent of like a YMCA team. But in that same aspect, when you put a guy that's as athletic as Ryan Dunn on the court with them, it probably should really pop off the screen. My kind of bold stat prediction for the night is Ryan gets 7 blocks. I don't want to say if that's going to help us win or lose. I just think that his athleticism is going to be a big issue for them.
Yeah, agree with that.
Have defensively, what do we look for from them? Is it straight man-to-man? Is it any defensive schemes?
They're largely man-to-man. I did see them mix in some zone possessions, but they're not playing pack line, but they're playing kind of a mild version of that. They do everything well. Like, Mark, you would be excited to coach this team. They execute offensively. They execute defensively. They don't make mistakes. They don't turn it over. The only thing they don't do very well is shoot threes. But outside of that, they're very well coached. Nico Medved is their coach. He's a very good coach. If they win this game, I'm sure he's getting a job somewhere. So there's motivation there, probably from him and staff. But we've got to be on point, and we cannot get off to the slow start. And someone put this up there, and it's really important. We got bitten in the butt last game about this. We have to make our free throws. They shoot at a pretty high clip. Their free throws, they're like 75%. We're at like 63, which I think is dead last.
It's second to last.
Second to last.
Yeah, but it's still bad.
One of the other concerns, in addition to free throws, is being able to sustain a lead. Right? We got off to a nice. We had a stretch there against NC State where McNeely hit a shot, Tane hit a shot, McNeely hit a shot, and I think we went up 7 or 8. And we've struggled with that throughout the year, right? Being able to sustain the lead. And I don't know if it's just the personality of the guys. And Dougie, please chime in. Do you think it's the personality of the guys? Do you think it's like we just don't have killers that are going to step on somebody's neck? Or do you think it's the defensive play or the lack of offensive opportunities?
I remember this going back to London Parentes. I'll never forget when he was. I thought London liked to be down by 6 points just to have that thrill of coming back and winning. I even asked Coach Bennett about it one of the first times I talked to him. I was like, does London want to be like down in game? Like we'd be up 8. Next thing you know, we're down 6 and we come back and win. Oh, it was dramatic. It was fun. It was interesting. But step on their necks, man. Turn the knife, whatever. Sweep the leg, the whole thing. This year, I think the biggest issue for us tonight, because I'm rounding back to what you guys have, I think we're a very easy scout, unfortunately. You know, we don't have the Mamadi showing up in the tournament like he did in 2019. Like, whoa, who's this guy? Braxton Key, Swiss Army knife. We're a pretty easy scout. Isaac McNeely makes threes. He shoots. He can kill you from 3. Reese might be a little tricky to scout, but he's not going to shoot a 3. He's going to do his thing. Rhodey, you know, on and on and on. So we're a very easy scout, and I think that's what. If this coach, that Nico, whatever his name is any good, he can exploit that. Sorry, we're not changing either, right? Have always talks about it. We're not going zone. We're not pressing. We're doing what we do. So we're an easy scout.
We basically run 2 half-court sets. Everybody knows what the blocker mover is. Yeah. I don't know, Josh B, you might understand this a little bit better with them defensively. Do you anticipate switches in the blocker mover because they don't really have a true big?
What's that? I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you anticipate them switching defensively in the blocker mover at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think they will some kind of opportunistically. Like, I don't think they're going to switch Cartier onto Beekman, you know, like that type of example. But I do think, you know, I mean, Stevens is a very good player, but that said, he's only 6 foot. So if he's trying to come through screens, it's hard just because he doesn't have the length if he's a little behind to still affect the play. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of opportunistic switching. I don't think they'll go like 5 across the board switching everything, but yeah, you'll see some for sure.
All right, before we get into predictions, because we got about 2 minutes left before tip-off, anything you would do differently? What would you do differently coming out of this game, coming to start the tip? Pre-game, your TB, you're giving a speech, or you're making decisions and you're developing a strategy. What would be the one thing you would say, we're going to do this a little bit differently tonight?
So it's a really good question. I would say the first thing is I would tell these guys, over the last couple of days since we got in, hey, we're playing with house money. Okay. No one believes in us. Let's go out and prove it to them. Play with a chip on your shoulder. Let's win all the 50-50 balls. Like, let's be really tough. The other thing I would change was, and I don't think it'll happen. Well, let me back up. The next thing I'd change would be to play more shooters. Keep more shooters on the floor. For the first time since Charleston State or whatever, there's no big guy to like really worry about. So much of what we do is based on the other team's big, their other team's size. How are we going to combat their size down low? DJ Burns, Baycott, name the big from, Post from BC. It's all we hear about. We don't have to worry about that. So let's put some shooters out there. And then if I could change one thing, and this would be my ultimate change, would be we have to be opportunistic if we have numbers, let's run and push. Let's get in the guard's hands. Reese, go. We can get 6 or 8 points a game by doing that instead of slowing it down and walking it up. And I don't think that great defense has to be paired with a really passive offense. I know we value possessions and all that, but there are times when the math is on our side that we don't take advantage of it, and I'd like to see that change tonight.
All right, I saw a show this morning talking about this game. Guys, one guy said UVA was going to lose 14-11. The other guy said Colorado State was going to win 63-58. Dougie, what's your prediction?
52-49 the Hoos. It's not going to be pretty. Don't expect it to be. 55-49 Hoos. I have no idea what the spread is. It's not going to be a pretty game. I think both teams are going to be prepared and they're going to play it that way. But we're going to win and move on.
Josh B.
Okay, so first thing I want to throw out there, starting lineup is out now. It's going to be Reese, Isaac, Tane, Ryan, Jordan. So not really too much variation from what we were expecting. Do expect Jake to play a lot. Fresh line on this game, Colorado State's a 2.5-point favorite. I think the over-under was set at 120.5.
Yep.
So that puts you at a roughly, 61-59 type of game. I don't think that's too far off. I'm going to go Virginia 63-59.
Cowboys.
Josh, you kind of took my numbers there. I look at the over/under as well. I'm going to guess. I'll just be different. I think we're going to win 68-66.
Ooh, okay.
Who's we're gonna hit the over, which never happens. But I'm going to go with it tonight because I think they're going to be excited and guys are going to be focused.
All 5 of those points come from the free throw line to get up to 68?
Yes, but we have to take 27 of them to hit 5.
I got a 61-54 score in favor of the Hoos, favor of the good guys. Let's see how we come out. Let's see if we're aggressive. We've got some guys that have some NCAA experience. Right? Jen Clifton throwing out a 58-56 Hoos win.
Right on that, yeah.
Jen was pretty close the other night, right? Didn't she have it against Boston College?
She did.
She's always close, but she's always close, but I'm always right. Love you, Jen.
Yeah, Bill. Hopefully, yet nervous. Yes.
For sure.
I hope that our guys are. I got to believe that Reese is going to be calm and he's going to attack this game like he is the best player on the court. Which between him and Isaiah Stevens. Ooh, Nathan Thomas calling for a 15 point.
Nathan Thomas is going haymakers on the chat. That's awesome.
It's not as steep of a victory as WFS. Who there he is. There he is. I'm waiting for it. Right on cue. 1-2 victory.
2 points, and that 2 is banked in at the buzzer.
Oh, exactly. It's going to be a 3. He's going to be off by 1. It's going to be the swirly 3 from NC State that got us.
Meowie Wowie sang a 15-point victory as well. So we have some fans expecting UVA to come out hot and heavy and playing some pretty good defense. WFS, I'm not sure we're going to hold them to 2, but I agree.
I think we should investigate Meowie Wowie. I thought it was Hawaii or something. Oahu, Hawaii. Meowie.
You would have. I'll leave that to you two guys. All right. We're gonna
drug that Meowie Wowie.
It's definitely a pica. It's a fraternity brother half for sure.
Josh B, how are we getting the tip?
That's what I was trying to look at here. So they're on commercial, but they were still in studio. They haven't gone to the announcers yet. So I think we still got a few minutes.
All right.
They haven't put it up. I've been watching too on Twitter this whole time. They haven't put it up anywhere saying a time for tip. So it should be here any minute.
9:24.
9:24. Okay, we got 10 minutes then.
We got a few more minutes, guys. Let's quickly. Okay, Mike Lewis with the 4-point victory. Reese. We hopefully Reese doesn't have to play 35 plus minutes, so he's rested for Thursday. He's got to play a lot of minutes on Thursday for sure.
Where's the game Thursday? I don't know any of this stuff.
Logistics.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know. Josh told me before. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm hoping to go to that one. If
this is me and Hav's college dream. You have a game on Tuesday, so you can't go to class on Monday. When you win, you're not going to class on Wednesday. You're getting per diem on per diem, investing it into Bitcoin, and it's going to zero the last 2 days. But it's still so much fun, right? Imagine if we had that back then.
You win tonight, you go right to Charlotte.
Yeah, and you get per diem. Road per diem was like 2x.
Straight there, right?
$5 when we played.
What's that?
Thank you, Will Watt. Thank you, W2. Will Watt saying that we're much more pleasant listening to Seth Davis. The difference is now they get real per diem, right? It's
I know.
$dollars to go to.
Well, tournament per diem too. It's stacked. In the tournaments, we got more. On the road, it was always a lot more. But yeah, I'm sure now it's like.
That's happens you play a big time program. But now though, this class often during the March Madness time conflicts with spring break. Don't forget that might not be. I don't know when the UVA spring break is. I'm not sure.
It was always when we played. It was always during ACC tournament. So like the guys that we knew that lived in North Carolina and Southern Virginia, like they would show up at the ACC tournament. We'd see them, in the crowd and everything. And then NCAA tournament, people were back in school. And that's why the NIT was so great, because that took like a month and we're basically on the road. It was awesome.
Yeah. Hey, spring break already happened too. I just looked it up real quick. It was the 2nd through the 10th. So
yeah, so ACC tournament week.
Josh beat all on it. Guys, what do we think, in addition to, having some form of support? I think I was talking to Ty earlier. He's headed to the game with Sugar Shane and Grant. They're all going to the game. And what do you think of the crowd tonight? You think that we're going to have some representation? You think it's going to be light? You think it's going to be heavy?
I expect a light crowd. I talked to a really good friend, former basketball player who's in Ohio. It's the late start doesn't help. Everybody that lives in Ohio does not live in Dayton, contrary to popular belief. And people getting there, what did Adam tell us? Is a 7-hour drive from DC, Charlottesville. Do they even have an airport? You were born in Ohio, so I don't know much about the state. I think it's going to be light. I think it's going to be a little bit. I think the Wagners will travel because they're like, once in a lifetime. Let's all go in our RVs from Staten Island. They probably tried to take Jersey Transit, and they got to the end of the line in Atlantic City. We're like, we're not in Ohio.
You think you expect a nice sized crowd?
No, I think you're going to have any kind of UVA alumni within a couple hours will drive to this game. And that includes the spouse who maybe didn't go there, but we've brainwashed them into becoming a UVA fan. I think it'll be basketball fans from the Dayton area, people that love watching hoops.
Great point.
There'll be some community people there, a lot of high school coaches, a lot of kids, and there's going to be there's going to be some fraternity people from both sides that just say, let's take the long drive and we'll put 8 guys in a room, drink a ton of beer, and go watch a good game.
I was at my little guy's soccer practice on Saturday, and there was a family, and their little sister had an Illinois cheerleader outfit on. So we got to talking, and they're huge Illinois fans. Their family's from Dayton, and so on one side of the family from Dayton, and that's exactly what they said. The Dayton hometown packs that place out. They love to go, right? And I don't know how well UVA travels independent of the Final Four. Like I was always surprised at that Elite 8 game against Purdue. I think the crowd was probably 80% Purdue in that game.
Purdue was really close there, right?
Yeah, you guys said. That's what you guys all said.
Yeah, but so I mean, it's Ohio is not like a crazy drive from Charlottesville.
Yeah, the UVA student body unfortunately is taking their pre-game pictures for Fox Field right now. This weekend, I heard. This week, I heard. So everybody has a schedule. It's not a first come first serve. It's really hard to get into, and you got to get your picture on the horse for Fox Field in 3 weeks. So that's a tricky thing. But yeah, we're not. It's not great, but I love it when the fans from somewhere else, and they're probably not going to be for us, is my guess, in Dayton, Ohio. What's Dayton known for?
Even though we're the underdog of the game, we are the underdog of the game, but we're still the power, right?
People talk about people talking about the pace and the points and all that nonsense.
Yeah. Okay, Josh, if we had more success this year, do more fans show up?
You mean like for the tournament run?
For tonight, yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, first of all, if we had more success, we wouldn't be playing tonight, So that's a big point. But I think as the momentum builds, I think we're a big enough fan base that people will keep showing up. Say we make it to Charlotte, it'll be a better crowd than tonight. If we're lucky enough to advance past that, it'll just keep getting bigger. So yeah, I do think so.
Doug, our guy Adam is there and is always there every game, home, away, whatever. Especially
it's amazing. The guy's amazing, and the best part is he's mad because somehow the game program didn't show up on time. They're going to be there tomorrow, so he can't get a program, and he collects them. The guy must have 17,000 programs, Mark. He's at every game.
Every game.
That's cool.
And he loves his autographs.
He loves his autographs.
Yeah.
He notes who he's seen, and he's not happy until he's seen every team member, every coach, every manager before the game. So.
It's tough to
listen. Me and you have to listen to it. Thanks, Danny.
Danny's our mutual buddy. Yeah. So Lance is saying that we're making everybody He's making him nervous tonight, and that we think the season's final. What up, Fresh? But we're confident, Lance.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident here. I feel pretty good about this whole draw.
No, we're good.
It's a good bracket.
We're gonna win.
Wait a minute. So, Josh B, you think we win this game tonight? You like our chance against Texas as well?
I love the matchups against Texas. Yes, of course. Texas is a team with guys that can go into a microwave and score a lot of points. But I love the matchups. Yes, for sure.
Well, hopefully, we're talking about that on Thursday, right? Pregame.
Yeah, hopefully we're doing our 1 a.m. run here in a little bit, and we're going through it.
All right. We're going to let everybody get ready for the big game and for the tip, which is about a minute and a half away. Let's see everybody at halftime with smiles and confidence and some space between our score and Colorado State. All right. We will see you guys all at the half. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
But who's?
Go.